Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're building this crosscut sled out of melamine and some scrap plywood. So when I did this workbench, I didn't actually extend the grooves that run along here, and now I need a crosscut sled, so I'm gonna have to make these now. Good luck. So before doing anything, as you saw, I first put down some orange tape so that it would minimize the chip out of the melamine. Also, I put 2 pieces of scrap wood on the sides to keep my router from moving side to side. And my dust collector, even though it wasn't perfect, but it was taking a lot of the dust. Okay, so I cut the runners, and now that I cut the runners, I'm gonna try to cut the pieces that go on the runners out of this red oak, because this is what I have right now. So to cut the runners, I used a setup block to set up the distance between the blade and the fence, and this way allowing me to cut the runners to a perfect size. I do apologize from going back and forth from talking on camera and or doing the voiceover. I'm still getting used to this whole thing. So since right now they're really tight on the sides, I'm just gonna hit it with 120 and try to get them to go in there a little better. I'm gonna do one side first, and then if it's still a little tight, I'm gonna do the other side. So it's really tight, so I'm gonna do this side. Okay, so now they slide nicely. They're pretty tight, but with a little paste wax is gonna be perfect. There's no movement either way. It's perfect. Now I'm gonna cut the actual crosscut sled. I'm gonna be cutting it out of melamine, and I'm gonna make it 20 inches deep. So one of the reasons I'm making this crosscut sled, it's actually because I'm building another project that I do need to make dados on it. So this, even though it is a crosscut sled, I'm gonna be using it solely for dados. So in the end, I'm gonna cut the dado part on this. And since I was already cutting the fence, I decided to already go ahead and cut the back fence as well. To temporarily attach the runners to the sled, I'm gonna be using CA glue. At this point, I'm not really sure if the CA glue is gonna attach to melamine, because I know glue tends to come off real easy. But anyway, I still give it a try. And I try to align it as best as possible with the fence. That way it's sort of straight, but in the end, I'm still gonna make sure it's straight by putting one screw on one side and putting another screw on the other side once I square it up. If it worked. It worked. My gosh, it worked. Okay, now you need to screw it down. I'm gonna countersink some holes and then screw it down. So as you can hear in my voice, I was really excited that it actually worked. I wasn't sure if it was gonna work. If it didn't work, I was gonna use double-sided tape, but I'm glad it did. I actually made sure that the screws didn't touch the bottom, and at this point it was still a little bit hard, but later with some beeswax, it's gonna make it a lot smoother. So the fence is a little too tall, so I'm gonna cut it down to make it 3 inches high. So later I'll probably make another crosscut sled with zero clearance, But the main purpose of me building this one is because I needed something to cut dados. I rounded over all the edges. Damn phone was not recording. So, there you go. So at this point, I'm just gonna round over before putting the whole thing together, just so that it feels smooth on my hands, making sure that it's straight, and also making a chamfer at the bottom of the main fence. That way this will be where the dust is collected and it doesn't mess with the straightness of the cut. So at this point, I'm just gonna put one screw on one side of the fence uh, to be able to pivot and straighten it out before permanently attaching it to it. Also, since you do have to raise the blade slowly, don't forget to remove the riving knife. Otherwise, you won't be able to make the cut. Believe me, experience. And the reason why we need to make this cut before completing the whole thing is so that we can make sure that it's straight to the fence, and that way permanently attaching it to it. I'm not doing the 5 or 6 or 12 cut method. I'm pretty much just aligning it with the knife at this point, and I'm using CA glue and accelerator to temporarily secure it, and then I can turn it around and sink some screws from the bottom since it's already been straightened. And now we're just gonna put this one. It doesn't really matter if it's square or not. This is gonna be the one that matters, but we're gonna put that one right there. Now I'm just gonna add some blocks right here where the blade's gonna be coming out. That way I forget to protect my fingies from getting cut. I mean, not that I care about my fingers getting cut. I do have 10 of them. 20 if you count my toes. But anyway, this is gonna help me prevent my fingers from getting cut off. If you guys don't know, all this plywood, I didn't glue it up to like recorded it, because this actually I found it previously. If you've seen my my miter station build, if you haven't check it out, go check it out. I built my whole miter station with plywood with walnut veneer that I found. So this is still leftover. And anyway, what I'm doing here is just adding paste wax to make it slide a lot smoother, and it actually helps. It slides so smooth. Zero deflection. And we're almost getting to the end. Now it's time to do the final cut from side to side, bring it all the way through before actually putting on the dados on my table saw and bringing the dado cut all the way side to side. So at this point I did some test cuts and it works really good. There's no deflection. And coming up next, I'm gonna be throwing on the dados. But guys, at this point, I would ask you if you've enjoyed this video, if it's helpful or informative or at least entertaining, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me a lot. And I'm trying to grow this channel, so come along and grow it with me. And now let's test it on the actual project that I made this for. I actually threw some hold down clamps there at the top, as you can see, and this helps the piece to not move from side to side because it is melamine, so it's very slippery. And voila, as you can see, nicely done. It works perfect. Thank you guys. Here's a little after shot of the whole thing, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, take care.